Louis Quilico was one of the leading operatic baritones of the 20th century. His sudden passing on July 15th, 2000 was a great loss to the musical world. Quilico performed at many of the world's great opera houses: Covent Garden, the Paris Opera, the Bolshoi, and the Vienna Staatsoper, to name only a few. He was a stalwart of the Metropolitan Opera, appearing nearly 300 times over 25 consecutive years. At the Met, he sang under the baton of James Levine, Zubin Mehta, Richard Bonynge and Claudio Abbado, and alongside tenors including Luciano Pavarotti, Placido Domingo, John Vickers and José Carreras, and sopranos Joan Sutherland, Renata Tebaldi, Renata Scotto, and Beverly Sills. Louis Quilico was an ideal interpreter of the great Italian and French composers, but it was his defining portrayal of Rigoletto, the hunchbacked jester in Verdi's tragic masterpiece, that won him international acclaim, as well as the nickname Mr. Rigoletto. He sang the role more than 500 times, the last being at the National Arts Centre in Ottawa in September of 1994. After his retirement from the operatic stage in 1998, he continued to perform, touring extensively with his wife, the celebrated pianist Christina Petrowska Quilico. Together they made 4 recordings and a teaching video, and collaborated on the book Mr. Rigoletto in Conversation with Louis Quilico. In this book, Quilico shared his views on singing, on opera, and on his signature role, Rigoletto. He also talked about his own personally devised vocal techniques, sharing them with a new generation of singers. What is missing in the printed version of these conversations is Quilico's own voice and his unique personality. In these recordings, we hear him speak in his own words, with his own voice, unfiltered and unedited. Speaking personally, baritone Louis Quilico, Mr. Rigoletto, in conversation with Christina Petrowska Quilico. In this final conversation, Louis offers his advice to singers. Trust your own voice. Don't let others bully you. Be faithful to the composer. Always search for truth and simplicity in your performances. And above all, love what you do. Singing isn't just a way to make money.
What I have to say now, right now, it's happened at the very beginning of my career, when I won the Met Audition of the Year. All of a sudden, then I won some money and the glory and everything. I was very happy about it. And at the same time, there was no contract with the Met, but there was a thing to be part of a young artist program at the Met. It was called the Catherine Long School. I never knew where it came from. Anyway, the first year I went there, I was listening and I was looking and I did a little bit of coaching, but very, very little. And I was not really touched by them. By the second year, then it became very intense. And I remember very carefully that all of a sudden one day I walked in, and all of a sudden one of our teacher, who was an assistant conductor at the Met, said to me, well, what would you like to sing? I says, I'd like to sing the aria of Trovatore. I said, fine. And we started, and I did the recitativo. Then I started, with my clear sound, light sound, and the way I taught best how to sing it. And after I sang about maybe 4 or 5 phrases, he stopped me. And I says, what's wrong? He said, well, I have to say one thing. If you're going to sing like this, you're never going to sing at the Met. I says, what do you mean by this? Well, he says, this is much too young and much too light to be singing at the Met. I said, well, let me try to see if I can change this. And I understood what is it he wanted. He wanted me to sing it very, very dark, like an old man. That, like, if I was already 50 years old or 60 years old. And all of a sudden I started to sing, and very dark and everything. And I stopped exactly where he told me, where he had stopped me. And I said, is this the way I'm supposed to sound? He said, oh yes, that's the way you have to sound. Well, I says, in these conditions, I said, I'm deeply sorry. I don't think I'm never going to sing at the Met, because I cannot sing this way. And I took my music and I started to walk out. He says, you're never going to sing at the Met? I says, if I have to commit suicide before I come and sing at the Met, I says, I thank you very much, sir. You have advised me to do the wrong thing. And I says, I am not here to learn to do the wrong thing. I'm here to learn how is the right thing. And I says, people like you are assassins. And I walked out. And it took me about 15 years later to go back at the Met.
And here you are, going to be 70, still singing at the Met.
Exactly.
And there's the advice to young singers, and the reason that you're still singing, because you have the faith and the confidence in yourself. And
well, the thing is, if I have to say, I discovered what I needed for myself. And this is the thing that I feel, and it's very tragic that the young singers, they don't exactly know what they're searching for. You know, you have to use a lot of imagination. You have to go to be able to transport yourself in the third dimension and the fourth dimension. And very often singers don't have the foggiest idea what is the third or the fourth dimension.
And the most important thing is that you're out there by yourself. Nobody is going to help you make that sound but you.
There is nothing, and this is what I feel sometimes, that is very treacherous for that reason. Because the thing is, your mind, especially when you have interpretation or anything like that, if your mind is not strong enough to believe in yourself and to come at a point where you completely discovered yourself, how can you keep on surviving? It is absolutely impossible. Anybody will come and can destroy you very, very easy. And this is the reason why the great singer were never destroyed, for that reason. They found out themselves what was their quality, what was the possibility for them to be able to do. And this is the point, we don't know what to do.
And your great inspiration, basically, is the music.
Well, naturally, the composer. You see, the composer has been so well advised that is, how can I say, just be true to the composer. And this is the thing that, for instance, I'm sorry to say it, if I say this, 95% or 97% or maybe 98%, if it's not 99%, that for instance, the conductor, well, they're not true to the composer. They're themselves. They should change the title of the opera. They should call this opera by Mr. So-and-so himself. And I'm sorry to say it, that's not the way it should be.
Well, in my own experience as a pianist, no matter what happens in one's life, when you go out on the stage, that great inspiration, what keeps you going, is the music, and giving it to the people and getting their feedback.
Absolutely. The point is, I don't know if the instrumentalist is as lucky as we are, us singers. But the thing is, I'm positively sure it's exactly the same way, but it's very difficult to understand that. You are receiving a beautiful message. What I mean by this, the composer. Why trying to do something that is more or less, it's not you, it's somebody else? No, you have to be true to the composer, because the composer has written in certain way so beautifully that it has given you the opportunity to feel sentimentality and everything, and just be very careful about it. And it's not that complicated. People think it's very complicated. It is not complicated. It's the opposite.
Well, I think it's one of the most simplest things. I agree with you. I find that a lot of people actually don't like music that are in it.
Well, yes, it's
and
true.
they're there because of duty, or they've ended up there making money, and they're very good. But in the long run, they don't love it. And I find watching you that's the basic thing that got you going and has kept you singing throughout all the years, is that love of music and the joy of singing.
I'm going to tell you one thing. It's a beautiful thing to be able to open your mouth, and all of a sudden, through the greatness of the sound that comes out, all of a sudden you become enthralled with what comes out of you, and you're wondering, why does it come out of me? And sometimes you don't have to ask why, because you are so true to what the composer, like I said, you are so true to what the composer wanted, that you don't create a possibility of doing something that is wrong. It's the opposite. You go towards something that is true, and this is the big problem with the conductors. All of a sudden, the conductors will look 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's what counts. No, this is the point. You see that it is immaterial. But the conductor insists that you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is one thing. It's to get together with the orchestra, with the other people and everything. But the 1, 2, 3, 4, the moment you come to the interpretation, the 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't exist. The music is one of these things. It keeps on growing, and doing its own, his own feeling. But what we're doing in general, we don't do that. We have to create. Well, it goes faster on that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes it's the opposite, and that is the thing with the conductors, that they don't understand the composer. We are at that mercy, and this is where we were talking about young singers with the coach and the conductors, and sometimes you even have the stage director. They all want to butt in. But the only thing is, if you've got a great man in front of you, it will not bother you for that reason. Because who is the man that very, very seldom that will be able to say something to Pavarotti or something like that, or Placido? If you listen to Placido singing, it's practically always right. And you see, the point is, with great conductors, for instance, they understand that. They feel it.
And mentioning some superstars, what I was talking about with young singers, actually this afternoon, is neither of those big superstars, or neither of the ones that I've met, including you, put on any airs. The job at hand is the music. It's not the making themselves look good, because if you are true to the music, you're going to be good anyway. And it's those phonies that I think have a hard time, and I feel sorry for them, because they're not enjoying music at all.
I have to say one thing. Music is the point is with music that create very often this great problem is to find in the music the simplicity, and we don't try to search for that simplicity. And this is the thing that is too bad, because in the simplicity, very often you find truth. As we say in French, vous trouvez la vérité with the simplicity. But when you start to want to create your own dilemma, it becomes a dilemma. I'm sorry to say it.
I'll stop it for a minute. Okay, there seems to be quite a style right now of singers using pianists who are not known as accompanists of voices. For example, Cecilia Bartoli has been using Andras Schiff for wonderful joint recitals, and Ferruccio Furlanetto is using Alexis Weissenberg. We're doing a lot of recitals now and recorded a CD. And what are your feelings about this type of collaboration?
Well, I think there's one thing that I think that it should be for a singer to become a great singer. I think he has to sing, he has to perform, and all that. I think for the pianist, it's a little bit the same. If you take generally, except for a few people that became really coach and or became accompanists, they made a career of that because not because they knew, but all of a sudden they became under the spell of great interpreter. And this is why all of a sudden you have these people that have become very, very wonderful. But if you got somebody that never been really an accompanist, but has been performing piano, I think the greatness of that is that you come at a point as an interpreter, because you see, you're not only a simple pianist, you're an interpreter. You discovered the faculty of to be able to feel, let's say, for instance, a crescendo. It doesn't have to tell you exactly how do you create that crescendo. You have done it already. And that is the thing that for me is very difficult. Or accelerando. How do you feel this accelerando? It's not a thing about, No, it's a thing that people come up with a certain feeling. And this is the thing that everybody is happy when things are done with the right way. And this is the problem, that we don't have that.
Well, we hit it off right away. We've had a lot of fun at rehearsals, that's for sure. And we recorded our CD, I think, all 10 arias on basically one take, the first take, right?
That's right. There's one thing that you will agree with me, that you and I think it's the most important thing is to be able to do music for music, and not to say, I'm going to put it on the CD and that's going to bring so much money. No, you have to enjoy it first. And that's one thing that I noticed with you. You really enjoy it. Plus, on top of that, your enjoyment is not only a matter of enjoyment, but you're feeling for it. That is the thing that is very important. For me, if I don't feel from you that certain things that's supposed to come out from the instrument is very difficult. It makes it tremendously difficult. But when it's already created, like for instance, you notice one thing, that all of a sudden, if I feel that, all of a sudden, a certain part where you will go maybe a little bit too fast, that, being that, but I've been in my sphere, I feel it, I say to you, no. And after the second time, you feel it like I do feel it. Because there's an automatism, an understanding that comes from your part that will see it. And that is the thing that's very important. To be able to do music with somebody else that does music, and to be able to give and take. And that is the point. Very often, when you do opera, and you come in front of these conductors, or coach, or anything like that, you don't have flexibility. And then what happened? You have to fight. And that, for me, I'm sorry to say, that's not the way it is.
Well, the same as I say for piano coaches who all of a sudden feel that they can tell opera singers what to do. I feel the same about concert pianists. If you don't go out there and make money playing concerts, actually on stage, playing with orchestra and do chamber music and really perfect your craft, you have no business using the name. And I feel that perhaps this is what the singers are looking for now in their collaboration with artists that have separate careers aside from accompanying, who actually have large solo careers, and then it's a true collaboration.
Well, naturally, the collaboration, like for instance, our collaboration is a great one, you know. And you know, it's not only ours. There's the many other people that it's like you just mentioned a few names, and that is the thing that's very important, because you have to feel what I do, and I have to feel what you do, and this is the glamour, the beauty, you bring to the people exactly in your own will, in your own mind, you bring maybe what it should be done. And that's the beauty of it.
And even getting out of opera, new repertoire is what we hope to be doing.
Oh, definitely, we have to, because the thing is, you know, something very funny, I hate to say this, you know, but you know, when I met you, I didn't expect that I had to revive myself. But all of a sudden, here I am, you know. Who am I? All of a sudden, I have to revive myself. And I said to myself, well, I don't think I might like that too much. But I'm going to tell you one thing. It's wonderful to be able to see that not only new, but the past. That's the beauty of it, to be able to translate yourself in many ways. All of a sudden you lost contact with yourself. All of a sudden you come back and you get contact with yourself. And I'm possibly sure, like the CD we want to come out with, something like maybe semi-classical music or something like that. I think it will create a tremendous diversion for people. You might be very surprised how much the past can come back to the...
Well, how do you mean the past, and why did you lose contact with yourself?
Well, for instance, like the semi-classical music I used to do, I lost that. It was not anymore in fashion or anything like that. But you notice one thing, that lately that people, and this is a big problem, we did not understand, we didn't care that the people still wanted to hear, even if they never heard it. And this is the thing that's very interesting. Then some of this kind of music is never heard by people. But if you bring it back to them, you might be very surprised how much they will enjoy it.
What about historical music?
Well, that is a wonderful thing to do, like the music we discovered lately. I think it could be very interesting. Why was it lost? I would say it's maybe the time that it was written, for instance, was not there to be followed. Maybe now we're at the point where new music, new things that has been written are not exactly in the vein of people, and maybe that kind of music that was in the past, practically at the turn of the century, I think it was will create maybe for the people interest, tremendous interest, and it's the kind of music that I have to say was never really produced.
Well, since meeting me, you've also been initiated into 20th century music with my recitals that I drag you to, unwillingly sometimes.
Yes.
Is that going to have an effect?
Well, I have to say one thing. I might be nasty what I'm going to say, but I think a new music for me is, how can I say, maybe it's an understanding that I don't have. You understand that kind of music. You know, this is the interesting thing about life. People understand certain things. They're able to produce it, but some other people, it's not easy for them to be able to. It's not because I did not do new music. I did some new music, but at the same time, I never felt very comfortable in it. Some people, they feel very comfortable. I never felt comfortable.
Well, the thing with new music is that now it's beginning to sound more romantic than anything written from the 40s, 50s.
May I say something? Maybe that is the reason why I lost interest in it. Because for me, I'm a very romantic person. I'm a very romantic, person, you know that. But at the same time, it's not only romantic person, a romantic singer. That's what I want to say. And that is the thing that is very important for me, that if I don't feel that in the music I have sing, I don't have an interest. But the new music, I noticed, I noticed that some of it is becoming quite romantic. And that's very important.
You said you needed to revive yourself. Why do you say that? Was it the age factor that you felt that you might not be singing anymore?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a matter of not exactly that. I think it's more or less finding more things that can create a tremendous interest in me. And I think that is the reason why I said that. Because it's very important to be able to talk about something, but you have to talk about something you love and not to talk about something you hate. And that is the thing for me that's very important. If I can bring to people, okay, you might say, you want to talk only about your the thing that you believe in and all that. It is true. Because not everybody believes that's exactly the same way. We all believe different way. And the thing is, in our creation, we bring to the people things that are maybe wonderful in life for that reason. Because you know, you understand, your life has been blessed with these things. I am not a man that likes to talk about evil things, to talk about ugly things. No. Life is too short and too beautiful. And that is my character. And you know that. I don't have to tell you. It's very important that everything that I will do in my life has to create something beautiful to the people. And this is the reason why new music, if it's something romantic, I would say that I might accept it. I might absorb it. But for a while, new music was very difficult.
Did you find that also the reason about reviving yourself, that your career kind of was coming to a stop and now it started up again?
Well, I would say that it does, because the thing is, all of a sudden I was going towards a standstill. But doing this is kind of renewing myself. And it's very funny to say that renewing yourself with things that you have done before. You know, that is the point that very often people don't exactly realize that, okay, the past has a lot to do with it, but at the same time, it's not everything. But the thing is, it's not to disregard, especially the things that are the beauty of their life. Embellish their life with these certain moments, these certain things they have done. And this is what happened with me. I have lost a little bit of contact of them. Plus, on top of that, it comes to a point you realize that you don't have anymore the possibility of doing certain things, maybe new things. Why not to go back to certain things that you were doing very well? And this way you keep on going. And that's the thing that I think is you for instance, have created in my mind, to discover it, to rediscover it. Not to just simply that forget it about it, it's forgotten. No, it's the opposite.
You're talking about, of course, redoing roles and repertoire.
Well, roles, I would say, maybe limited, because the roles I've done, some of them were very, like for instance, let's just name a few of them, like Bohème, Don Carlos, just to name a few, Silvio in Pagliacci. I will do Pagliacci, I'll do Tonio, but the thing is, it will come at a point where I'll be limited to do Tonio.
And these are the beautiful things that you're talking about. That.
Well, some of it, yes, I have to say. But it's to be able to come at a point where you say to yourself, no, it is, but at the same time, you go even deeper than this. Like, for instance, we want to do a recording of light music. Well, for instance, I used to do a lot of light music when I was younger. Now, all of a sudden, I didn't do it anymore. The only thing I was thinking about is to do, I never did Schubert, but Brahms I did, or things like that. But the thing is, it's to go back to a certain thing that could appeal to the general public. And I think it's very important.
I'm happy.
I think what's very important in life is to come at a point where the most beautiful moment of your life is to be able still making a sound. Like it is happening right now. It's heaven. You know, you feel that God has stayed with you, and this is the thing that is very important, that to be able to say to yourself how wonderful life is for that reason, that you are creating things that you have done all your life, and more you go, less it will leave you. It's always very treacherous to think that it's going to come at one point where it will leave you. But I don't know. God must have been on my corner, because He still helped me. And I think it's a wonderful thing for that reason. Because it's very wonderful to be able to say to yourself at the age of 25 years old, I make a beautiful sound, it's wonderful, and it's everything. But just imagine, you arrive at the age of 70 years old, you still sing at the Met, you are respected by people. On top of that, you be able to sing this great music. I think it's a blessing. It's the greatest thing that can be given to any human being in this earth. And I wish that if I could give a blessing to anybody that I love, or anybody that I think would be worth it, to be able to sing till the day they die, like dying with your boots on, I think would be a real incredible thing to happen.